Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.
Welcome back to the program. We've got Mr. Jim Estes. Jim is the chair of the Washington County Republican Committee. Jim, welcome to the program, sir.
Well, thank you, Paul. I sort of was expecting to hear some Johnny Cash today, but I guess Christmas music will do.
Well, yeah, and that was Johnny Cash singing Joy to the World, Jim, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
Well, that was unexpected, though,
Yeah, it is definitely. You don't think of Johnny Cash when you think of Christmas music. I mean, you think of Andy Williams or Nat King Cole. But he's got some great ones. He's got some great ones, there's no doubt. So, Jim, shed some light on here. Shed some light on this subject for us. Why was that original post taken down that said, "We wish Jan the best in her future endeavors"?
Well, okay. I took it down. Let me just make that clear to begin with. I took the post down. I got up Wednesday morning after our meeting on Tuesday night, and we had a post that was put on Facebook. I read it, and I looked at it, and I thought, well, that last phrase could become a problem. But I thought it was a nice post. I thought there was nothing wrong with it, except if that last phrase became a problem. Now, Paul, as the chairman of the Washington County Republican Committee, I intend to follow the rules of the RPA and the rules of our committee. And there is a rule that is very specific about when you have two Republicans or more in a primary. During the primary, the committee, certain people in the committee, the chairman of the committee, there's several people that are named within the whole RPA organization, are instructed to remain absolutely neutral. And I was at work the next morning, a little after 8 o'clock, and I received a text from Chairman Webb.
Doyle Webb, the chairman of the Republican Party of Arkansas. Okay.
Yes, and Chairman Webb's text basically said that he had received a complaint about that particular phrase on that post, and he said it borders on breaking the rules. And I had already thought that it might do that earlier that day when I read it.
So, best of luck on your future endeavors. That is what Doyle Webb said is a borderline breaking the rule.
Borderline breaking the rules.
Now, that's interesting because to me, when you say, I mean, this is just my opinion, but to me, when you say best luck on your future endeavors, it sounds like you're going out of your way not to mention that she's probably going to run for governor and challenge Asa.
Well, yeah, and I think that's an argument that can be made. There's no doubt about that. And so I had another fellow who was writing the rest of that article that you started reading a little bit of, that was posted later. And so I was at work. When I'm at work, I don't have the ability to deal with these types of things. So I made the decision, I'm just going to pull it down, and this afternoon when I get off work, we're going to clean it up and make sure we don't have anything that's going to borderline break any rules, and we'll put up a nice post. Well, the problem is that in between the time that I had it taken down and I got off work that afternoon, the internet exploded.
Yes.
With all kinds of people saying that it was demanded that we take it down and so on and so forth. I made the decision to take it down, and I made the decision to put back up what we put back up.
Well, I think that's I definitely think that is obvious. The question that I would have for you, Jim, is would you have taken this thing down had Doyle Webb not texted you or contacted you?
We're talking about borderline. I was borderline about it when I read it that morning.
But you weren't convinced. I mean, you hadn't made up your mind.
You know, you can paint it any way you want to. All Doyle said was, we can talk about this later. You know, he didn't tell me to take anything down. My point now is that for whatever reason, whether you want to say that I made the wrong call, that's fine. You can say that. But for whatever reason, the idea that the Central Committee demanded that it be taken down is not correct.
So here's the thing. I feel like we're all on this, in a lot of ways, we're on the same page. I feel like with the news that is out there or the developments, I don't know if it's news because a lot of the mainstream people won't report it. There's a heightened level of sensitivity to protect Asa, and the only way to do that seems to be to try to prevent Jan Morgan from speaking or from getting, you know, any kind of attention. That seems to be abundantly clear, and there's a mounting body of evidence for that. And the fact the fact that Doyle even texted you, it just contributes to the mounting body of evidence.
Well, Paul, if I was in Doyle's position and I received a call about that, knowing what the rules are, which, you know, not a lot of people know the rules, but knowing what they are and knowing the email that we got before this election season from the RPA about being very careful about those rules, I can tell you that if I was in his position, I would have probably done the same thing.
Did he say? Did Doyle say who the complaint was from?
I asked him, and he said that he was not did not discuss those things. That and the reason he didn't, he said, is because if he had read it first himself, he would have also contacted me about it.
Well, you know, you just never know. It's funny. It could have been somebody just down the hall. I mean, it could have been somebody in the RPA office that was like, have you seen this? Because the truth is they have people that watch this type of stuff because they're out trying to protect Asa. And so, you know, he gets an email from somebody in his own office, maybe. I don't know. This is speculative. Or somebody from the governor's office, for that matter. Anyway, it's all it's just very interesting stuff, Jim. I'm glad that you could come on and set the record straight. I don't really think it was that murky, but I appreciate you letting us know, confirming that Doyle Webb is contacting chairman and, you know, saying, hey, you need to take this down, or there's been a complaint about it. Maybe consider taking it down and that sort of thing. So I appreciate it.
He did not.
Go ahead.
Okay. I know you're ending the conversation, but he did not tell me to take it down. If he had, I would have reported that, and I would have said that was the case. It was my decision to make. He suggested that we talk about it later.
Okay. All right.
And unfortunately, the word was put out after that I mentioned Doyle's name, and the word was put out, unfortunately, by I'm not going to say by, but the word was put out that there was
the Conduit for Action, the Conduit for Action Facebook page that made that post. They said there were sources that said that the word came from Little Rock. The word came from the RPA.
And if you read that, you read that just a minute ago, my friend, and you read what they said, that the Central Committee demanded it.
Well, that's a play. The Central Committee's a play on the Central Committee. Like
I know exactly
communism.
what it is. Yes, I sure do. I know.
Yeah.
And I'm not supporting. I mean, I'm not protecting in any way, shape, or form Chairman Webb. I'm not protecting Governor Hutchinson. I'm not protecting anyone. I'm telling you, the only people I'm protecting is I won't name anyone in my committee that might have made a mistake. I take the hit for it. That's my job, and I'll continue to do that. And
Jim Estes, I appreciate you coming on the program, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All righty.
Thank you. Bye.
Folks, it's John.
Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.